And besides the struggles that I've been having in writing, working full time, going to school, having kids, it's been a lot. So I have set my deadline and I'm sticking to my deadline. So I should be defending my dissertation. And I'm speaking this into existence. So it will come to pass in April. So yeah. So that's the great thing for me this week. Anyone else wants to share?
Charlotte. What
I'm not going into the board. Have a dissertation committee. Yeah, that judges it when you're done. When you present it, then they critique it. But yeah,
Ma'am, I think the folks on TV have their hand up.
I want to share. Anyone else wants to share anything? Oh,
Stand up.
yeah.
Did I tell my name, dude?
Ma'am, I think
Say your name and whatever you want to share.
All right. My name is Brandon. This week has been a journey of growth. Thanks to my auntie, she's been helping me through a lot of things of where that I used to make. Uh, how would I say it? I used to react the wrong way, and she's been able to have me kind of process it and um, react or respond in a different way. And I've seen how it's actually worked out versus how it would have worked out if I was the same way or if I still thought the same way. And she, she's my auntie, she's almost my therapist, really. Uh, I come to her all about my problems, but she definitely helps me, and um, I've gotten closer with God as well. And he's, I've asked him to my auntie. He's taught me how to pray. I've asked him to guide me through to his will, and I can say like things just started to happen drastically and fast, and just blessings are out of nowhere. So I'm happy. I can honestly look toward the future with excitement. So yeah, that's my.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Do we have anyone else that wants to share?
hello, everybody. My name's Roberto. I attended my first meeting, which and it was very encouraging. A lot of different people here, a lot of good stories yesterday. Um, and anyone that even if you're out of your addiction or whatever, I still encourage you to come and check it out just to support there. I This gentleman gave me a card, so I'm gonna give him a call to see if he'll be my sponsor. But I'm on my way. So that's it. Yeah.
Awesome. So we have someone that's
I'm on my way.
I'm my name is Charlotte, and I've what?
you're
Oh, I've been in here for about 5.5 months, almost 6 months, and I've been reading a lot of faith-based books, and doing a lot of work. Um, but I'm just really happy today because I learned that through like worship and learning the word, I can get in line with my higher power, and through that, His power will work in me and get rid of my fears and shame and all that. And I just can't wait till I get to a level where I can help other people through His power, through me to other people. So I'm excited about that happening in the future. So my time's going by fast since I'm learning a lot, and I've also been reading the big book, and so I mean that's about it. It just makes me happy knowing that, just seeing the bigger picture out there instead of just what I'm doing right this second, and knowing that there's an eternity and not just um, like 60 or 70 years. But thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Do we have anyone else?
Thank you, Carolyn.
So I wasn't really going to say anything, but it seems to be a theme for me tonight. And my walk with God has become with God. I'm sorry if I cheer up, but I feel like I'm right here with him right now. I mean, he's always right here with me now. And it's so powerful. And the other day, I got to work and it was lunchtime, and I just got my paycheck stub, and I was like, "Well, it didn't clear." And she said, "Well, my bank said they gave you the money. You got to figure it out." So, all right, I go out to my car and I get in my car and trying to figure it out, and it's a big struggle because I have a bad thing because I was in prison. I'm not sure how to run all this yet. So, meanwhile, I'm sitting on a flat tire. I got a flat tire on the back left side of my car, and I've got to fix that if I'm going to be able to go to figure out the money thing. And then I got out of my car and dropped my phone and completely smashed my Samsung phone. And I wasn't bothered once, not for a moment, ever, because God was right here with me. I mean, I was never once bothered. I didn't bat an eye. I just, oh, okay, this is what I do next. What is in it for me? What am I going to learn from this? How is this going to make me stronger? What's the lesson? And it was awesome. It's just super powerful. And I just wanted to share that with everybody.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else?
As him. My name is Lawrence, recent graduate of Hope for Prisoners. Very proud of that. Very proud of that because after doing all the time that I've done, coming out here in the free world, get distorted. Get real distorted real quick. My testimony is it's hard for me to get a job right now due to my identification thing, but I take odd jobs and I got a check. I wasn't able to cash it. Show you how God is. When you're going through a storm, and it brought me to the service I had heard when Jesus got on the boat and they told him, let's go on to the other side. He asked him, where's your faith? So I'm standing there waiting, myself and this gentleman, Roberto here, waiting. I'm like, God, what am I going to do? So I just tell the lady real nicely, I say, thank you. This is not your problem, not your fault. So while I'm sitting there getting my stuff together, this is how God is. She gets on the phone and calls my boss. And he gives her the okay. So whenever you're going through a storm, my point is, hold on to your faith. He got you. It may look dim, it may look bad, but if he say, let's go over to the other side, that's exactly what he means.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Chad, do we have anyone online or at Casa Grande that want to share? Darby, do we have anyone at Casa that want to share a testimony? That's Darby. Okay, I see you. Do we have anyone else here? in how.
Okay, unfortunately, I have to use this thing. So, hi, my name is Rosie. I just did 5 years and I got out on the 8th. So, I was blessed to spend the last few hours with, thank you, thank you, thank you, Marche's last day, I'm not sure if everyone knows or if anybody knows her, was Friday. So, Thursday, no, was it Tuesday, Joffrey? Tuesday, I come in. I just happen to mosey in here, and I meet Jeffrey and I meet Marche. And Marche had actually been at Florence McClure, and she had my intake form. So I did all that with her. So she had me come in. So I spent a couple hours with her, and she just pumped me up, lifted me up. And so I come back today for orientation, finish my orientation, get accepted into the program. So now I'm going to do the 18-month program. I'll be scheduled for my week, the 8 to 5 and all that. So I will be graduating this program because I've already spoken into existence. So I just want to tell you guys that whatever excuses you have, whatever no's you're having, if you're having any issues with your parole officers, or whatever you're going through, stop making excuses, because the only thing that's stopping you is your choices. So I'm here because of my choice, and I'm going to graduate because of my choice, and I'm going to get a career because of my choice, and I'm going to get my bachelor's because of my choice. So start making the choices that you need to make. Handle your business.
Choices, choices. So who's gonna choose to speak? That was slick, right?
Hello, everybody. I'm Chaplain Rex. A couple weekends ago, I was blessed to be able to go take more chaplaincy training, and it was eschatology and biblical languages, and it was very interesting going over that. But 30 years ago, drinking and drugging and all that, nobody would have ever thought I would have became a chaplain. Uh, it just, I knew the Lord before in my younger days, but I straight rebelled, became the prime example of a prodigal. And the Lord had his hand on me the whole time, from sitting in the police car when I was arrested, giving my life back to the Lord, and all the way through the incarceration, after incarceration. Sure, there's been trials, tribulations, but there's been blessings. I mean, God blesses you. And anytime I feel like I'm in a trial, I get on my knees and ask God, okay, I'm going through this. What do I need to learn? And the whole experience in the crime that I was incarcerated for, it was a learning experience. I don't actually remember much of it. I know it was there, but to learn from it, always learn from it. Any mistake, learn from it and keep going. That's not you. That's not who God made you to be. He can turn your life around. And if you allow him, he will turn you into what he wanted you to be in the first place. And I thank everybody and wish you guys a CCDC and NDOC the best. You can do it. You can do it.
Anyone else? Don't let me start calling names.
What's up, short? That's Casa. Oh, okay. I was gonna say short times. No, I'm messing around. How you doing, man? Excuse me. My name's Sean. I attended this program almost close to about a year ago. Well, I think how long we been out? About 5 months, 4 or 5 months out when we graduated. Was that back in August? About 5, 6 months ago. Long. Well, would you know? About May. Yeah. So, long story short, I graduated. I attended the program. Program been lightweight good. I encourage anybody that's attending it, take full advantage of it. I went through the CDL programs. That's why I told Miss Carolyn I'll come back and be an inspiration to those that can understand that this program help you. It's about If you put forth the effort to come back to you. How hard you give it, how great it comes to you. So I went through the upstairs, got my CDL, been on the road for the last couple of months. I finally had a break. I gave her I gave Miss Carolyn my word. I'll come back and speak to everybody, let them know things do come to those that focus, stay disciplined. That's the most important thing. I mean, we all been there, done that. You know what I mean? We still connected to some people that know our struggles. We know they struggle, but it's about whoever's the most disciplined and the most focused comes out on top. You know what I mean? And if you love yourself, everything else will represent itself. You know what I mean? The friends and the family, they're going to be there. They're going to love you regardless because they loved us in our hard times. Now it's best to see if they love us in our good times. You know what I mean? And the best reward is showing them how success looks. And that's with yourself. You know what I mean? I'm not the perfect guy. You know a little bit about me. I sat in that Clark County Detention Center 4 years fighting for my life, 23-1 in the South Tower. On the second floor, the third floor, I went through that whole county jail. Fought all through every floor. Been on the seventh floor, ninth floor, fifth floor. If anybody know how it is in that county jail, it's horrible. Like when I say I did 23-1, 4 years fighting for my life, fighting a first degree murder, and I'm out here today. You know what I mean? To have a chance to share my testimony, and it ain't too many dudes that's gonna get back to even say, you know what, I'm blessed. You know what I mean? I'm just letting cats know I gave John my word. I'll show them that it's hope. The only reason I maintain my discipline is who gonna love me better than me? You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta be selfish. And I ain't saying selfish is a bad thing. Sometimes it's a good thing. I ain't ever heard change to be bad. I don't know about y'all. Change is always good. You know what I mean? I don't know nobody's story in here, but the only thing I can tell you, man, discipline and focus. That's all that matters, man. The homie might tell you, let's do this, let's do that. I don't know. I don't know who's a leader. I don't know who's a follower. But you only got one life to live. If you live by the leading yourself, everything behind you will follow, player. I mean, like I say, my blessings to you. I encourage everybody, man, to stay disciplined, focused. If you do drugs, I'm not saying don't do them. Start minimizing. That's all I can say. Because I know addiction is real, bro. No, I'm just saying. I know addiction is real. I don't do drugs, but I'm just saying I know it's real. Just like other things is addictions. You know what I'm saying? Your mental health is real. You know what I mean? That alone is like a bad addiction if you don't know how to control it. And that's why I say focus and discipline is important, man. And I hope you see the big sign around you. And I hope you guys maintain and focus and stay disciplined.
Thank you, Sean. And it's not called being selfish. I once heard this from someone that was older than me. I said the same thing. I got to start being selfish to start thinking about me. And she said it's not called selfish, it's called self-caring. It's self-caring. Yeah, and that changed my life when she told me that, because it puts everything into perspective. Do we have anyone else that wants to share? No one else? Okay, so if we don't have anyone else that wants to share, we're going to move on to the speaker. So I just want to say a shout out to everyone at CASA. We see you guys. We see you. and the city jail as well. Darby, we see you too, way in the back. Awesome. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and read Katrina's bio, and then I'm going to pass the mic to her so she can tell her story. So Katrina Grisby Tedford is originally from Arkansas and moved to Las Vegas in 2000. Where she experienced literal homelessness for 9 years. During the time that she was homeless, she developed a drug addiction. Being a hopeless addict, doing whatever it took to get the next fix, Katrina was arrested multiple times and has spent time in the Nevada Department of Corrections. On October 19, 2009, she hit her spiritual bottom and wanted to change her life. She said a simple prayer, help me. God heard her heart speaking, and she was rescued, meaning she was arrested soon after. She eventually received help from local organizations in Las Vegas and started to change her life for the better in 2009. Katrina has not had negative contact with law enforcement since the day in October of 2009, and she has been clean and sober since then. Awesome. Katrina attends Christian 12-step programs such as Set Me Free Ministries and is a Celebrate Recovery leader. Katrina has 12 years of professional experience working with those experiencing hopelessness. She's a licensed social worker and certified drug and alcohol counselor. She obtained her bachelor's of social work and master of public administration from UNLV. Yay, UNLV. She is currently pursuing her doctorate in public policy and has been happily married for 10 years. She's a homeowner and is currently the executive director of Nevada Homeless Alliance, a local nonprofit in Las Vegas. As a person with lived experience with homelessness, Katrina is passionate about ending homelessness, helping individuals with justice involvement and behavioral health issues, and is also dedicated to collaborating with community partners who are working towards similar goals. In her words, I was saved from homelessness to serve the homeless. Let's welcome Katrina.
I think I got my mic. Mic check. Chicka, chicka. Just kidding. Okay. So we're just gonna pass the mic around and everybody tell their testimony, then I don't have to speak. Yay. Okay. Anyway, so I'm just gonna kind of dive into detail. She read a brief story when they said send a bio, and I'm like, okay, let me just touch on a few points. So let's see how much time I got. All right. Whew, long time. My heart's beating fast now. Just kidding. So, like she said, I'm originally from Arkansas. So I was born, and I was born in Louisiana, and I was born to a 16-year-old mother, and I already had a 1-year-old sister, right? So my mom and dad were, you know, doing their thing back in the day. So anyway, so my mom was in the 9th grade with 2 kids, right? So I was raised by a village. That means my grandma, grandpa, all my aunts, and my mom was a teenage daughter, and she had 2 kids to take care of. But I didn't have a bad life, right? Never wanted for anything, never, no struggles, right? No abuse, no anything. But growing up, right? So I had this big, still got a big forehead and these lips, right? But growing up, I had this. I'm a kid, right? I'm skinny, got this big, huge head, big forehead, nice big lips, and my nickname was Head, right? You know, down south. I don't know if you guys from down south. They give you the craziest nicknames, and it's like that messed with me, like for a lot of my life because it was just weird. Like, but that was my nickname. And so when I got older and started a 12-step process and looked back at my life, and we'll talk about that later, then I kind of dug deep and figured out, some of these things, right? So I had a problem as a youngster comparing myself to others, right? I didn't know I'm wonderfully made by God, right? I want to be like this. I want to be lighter, which my hair is different, all these crazy things, right? So I developed low self-esteem, low self-worth growing up. And then in school, so my sister, she's fair-skinned and, she's prettier than me. And as an adult, we talked about that. And she was like, I always wish I was like you. And I was like, I was wishing I was like you. Right. So it's really weird, like how that happens. Cause, individually and in the family that I was raised in, it's like, you don't tell stuff. You just keep stuff to yourself and you get through it. Right. And, my grandparents and my mom did the best they could with what they knew. Right. In this small city in Arkansas. And so no blame on them. Anyway, so in school, I'm smart today, and I was smart then. But since I had low self-esteem, I'm a class clown, right? Everybody's comparing me to my sister because she gets straight A's. And, oh, you're going to be just like your sister. So I made sure I wasn't, So I'm the class clown. I'm regularly being kicked out of school for guess what? Questioning the teacher's ability to teach. Like, what type of crime is that? It's not a crime. But it's like she can't be here, right? And so I went to multiple schools. But it's really weird that when my sister had trigonometry or any type of math or science to do, I did it, and that's how she got straight A's. But for me, I didn't want to be seen as that person, right? So I had the ability to do it, and I felt like I was smarter than the teachers. Therefore, I was just a clown, right? So I had C's, but I knew I was capable of A's. Like, what am I proving to these people? It got to the point that eventually my mom moved to Seattle, and I completed the 11th grade. My sister completed the 12th grade, graduated. We moved to Seattle. I was upset because I'm like, why did she let her stay incomplete and I couldn't? But so she said, just come get your GED and just go to college, right? Because you're not gonna act right anyway. So I moved to Seattle, got my GED, went straight to Seattle Central Community College, and for my graduation, she flew me back to Arkansas, got me a hotel room and alcohol. And I was 18 and had a party. She brought me a class ring. So she did the best she could do, right? So I was able to see my class walk. I had my class ring. I was there with them, but I was a year in college at that time. So I'm in Seattle, and culture shock from Arkansas to Seattle in 1991. I mean, even in 2023, I was just in Arkansas a month ago. It's still like so different, like it's uncomfortable different, but that's where I'm from. And so it's a culture shock. I leave this city that's black and white in essence and go to a melting pot of all types of different people. So it was really weird for me as 17-year-old to have you speak to me, for instance. Okay, you're white, right? So it was weird for me because I'm from Arkansas, all the black people together. Then you got Africans and people from East India and people with Asian and Hispanics, and I was like, this is pretty cool, right? And so I completed school. Back in Seattle, you had to get a AA degree in order to be a cosmetologist. My mom did hair all her life, and she just set my path. I never played with a doll. I was pretty much like a tomboy. Played basketball and sports. And so she was like, get your GED and you're going to cosmetology school. So I went to cosmetology school, and then something happened. I was really good at doing hair, though I had never desired to do that, never hung out at the beauty shop with her. And so once I got my license at 19, she gave me her hair salon, and she got another one. So I was so good in doing hair that on the 4th of July, I would be booked for New Year's, right? And I used to, rent boats on the pier and have hair shows and fashion shows. And if anybody know any rap music, this was back in the day when E40 and Sibo and all them Federal was out. And I would open up hair fashion shows for E40 and Sibo and all of them. They used to be in my house. And so with that life came partying, right? For some reason, I always say I didn't do drugs until I was 19 or 20, but I started smoking weed at 13 and drinking Boone's Farm. But for some reason, why do I? That's drugs, right? So when I get to Seattle and I'm in this lifestyle of, having the salon, my first year when I was 19, I made like $86,000. This was 1993, right? So that's a lot of money back then. There's a lot of money now. But with that that lifestyle came with kicking it and partying, right? Tell I used to do something. I used to do meth. That's why I keep moving. But I'm 14 years sober. So just know some of the twitch don't go away for some of us, right? Anyway, so no sips, snorts, shots, nothing in 14 years. It's just in me. Anyway, so the lifestyle came, partying, kicking it. So I'm doing ecstasy. I'm doing all this stuff. It was fun, right? And that was the thing. We were close to Portland, and they had Everclear, and that was just the thing. That's what everybody did, and everybody looked normal, right? I didn't know until later that we're made up different biologically, right? Some people become addicts, some people can use and never become an addict, right? I'm one of the ones that became a full-fledged addict over multiple years. Um, so with that lifestyle, the partying and making money, I was selfish and self-centered. All about me. It was all about external appearance. I still had low self-esteem. So the $500 t-shirts and $300 socks made me feel really, really good, right? Because whatever was in back then, and if it cost a lot, everybody knew, right? A pair of socks, like who does that now? I don't want to pay 50 cents for a pair of socks. It's like, you know. Anyway, so I had a hair salon in Seattle, and then some drama happened, and I had to move to Sac. There was like a concert that some of the rappers out of Sacramento was having, and during that time, there were some police raids in the area in Seattle, and little did I know that the guys from Sac, some of the guys was there right in front of my hair salon selling drugs. Police came and wiped everybody out, but they didn't wipe them out because we were doing, like, they were doing autograph signings. So everybody said, she's the police. So they said, we got to move you out of here. So they moved me to Sacramento. Met a guy. He sold meth. Started doing that. Nobody knew. I think people probably knew. But anyway, I started working. I found a shop there and I was working there. Eventually, I moved to Arkansas. So I'm doing this demographic thing. Everywhere I go, I don't feel good. I don't feel right about myself. Is this place? I got to leave this place. I didn't find out till later that wherever I went, I took me with me, right? And so it was like, okay, I got to leave here. Got to leave here. So now I went to Arkansas. Then eventually, I went back to Seattle and went back to the same exact hair salon that was still there, and did pretty good. So I experienced some tragedy in 2000, and I said, I'm out of here. I have to leave Seattle, never coming back. So I used to come to Vegas all the time for the Magic Show, which is the clothing convention, because I was the co-owner of a clothing store, and we did fashion shows, and so I got a lot of free clothes from that show. I came every time, and I helped do the hair and the makeup, and help the models, that was on the runway or whatever out here back then. So I'm like, I saved money and moved to Vegas. Let me move to Vegas, and I'll get my license there. By this time, I had license in Washington, Arkansas, and Washington, Arkansas, and California. Yeah. And so I moved to Vegas, and I'm like, I'm gonna chill for 6 months and go get my license and open a shop in Vegas. That's 6 months. Ended up being 9 years of drama and turmoil. So I met a guy, him, it's the hymns. That's what I thought. Y'all probably think it was her, right? I met him again, and he was doing this thing, and I was like, "This cool." He looked normal, right? And so, even though I knew about drugs, alcohol, and it wasn't good for you, in my head, I'm never going to end up like the guy that you may see that's really, really, really bad off. Because all I can see was the people I was hanging around with that was doing it and still went to work every day and everything else, right? That's not my story. It didn't happen like that for me. So I met him, ended up spending all my savings, ended up getting over 100 arrests between 2000 and 2009, right here in the state of Nevada, Washoe County, Clark County. And I ended up being homeless, right? And so, along with, the guilt and the shame that comes with, oh my gosh, I can't believe I messed all this money up. Oh my gosh, I can't believe my life is where it's at. It's just, I don't want to feel anything. So therefore, I'm going to medicate. And my medication was drugs and alcohol to the fullest extent. And so, of course, with that lifestyle, what comes in the lifestyle. I don't even have to go into that. And so I ended up doing a demographic from Vegas. I'm moving to Reno. Moved to Reno. That's where I called my case at. And then I was like, I can't stay in Reno. When I went to, I came down here to Gene Camp. Then I was like, I'm expiring to Vegas, right? Or I'm going to do my parole in Vegas because I can't do Reno. So the demographic thing, right? Still, from when I was 17 all the way to when I was, however, I don't know, I'm almost 50 now. So my memory's not too good. So I expired. I'm one of the people who I got disciplined when I'm under somebody's thumb. Like, I'm the good inmate. I'm gonna be the trustee, right? I'm such a good inmate that I know all the officers. Oh, Officer so and so's working tonight, right? Like, I go to jail that much that I know people's shifts. Like, who does that, right? I'm also the type of addict to where I'm up for days on end. I'm tired. I'm not sleeping. I'm not eating. And I tell myself, and everybody else around me tells me, you need to go to jail so you can get some sleep. That's as far as my brain could think, right? Out here doing this, I'm trying to get more. And people will be like, nah, you need to go to jail so you can get sleep. This was our conversations. This is how I felt about myself. And so I'm also the type of person I said am because I'm in that context. I'm different today. That when I get arrested for doing something wrong, I'm giving officers a hard time. Hurry up and take me for child time. I need some sleep anyway. Why are you harassing me? Right? I'm the one with the paraphernalia. I'm the one jaywalked. I'm the one, did whatever I did. And so this is what happens. This is the consequence of your action. And so so all that happened between 2000 and 2009. October 19th, actually October 18th, 2009. So I'm living in Naked City in abandoned buildings. I'm bad off, probably 115 pounds. I wish I had a picture of me. With the picture of me today, you wouldn't even recognize who that person is. So what happened was, I'm in this abandoned building on Tam, and I look in the mirror and I didn't recognize myself. So earlier that day, I had talked to like the church right down on the corner by Sahara. They had the little outreach ministry, and they were like, I feel like God has a plan for you. And they prayed for me and said, come see me in the morning. And that night when I was getting loaded, every time I tried to get loaded, tears just came out. Like I couldn't feel anything. And I feel like that was my silent surrender. And I looked at myself and I just said, help me. That's all I said to God. Prior to that, so many foxhole prayers. God, help me out of this one, and I'll promise I'll do this. God kept his bargain, ended the bargain. I didn't. A couple times I prayed so hard, and I think it was heartfelt. And I was like, help me out of this, and I'll go back and be with my family. Next day, the social worker at the jail comes to me and say, hey, do you have anywhere to go? They call my family in Seattle. This is 2 separate times when I prayed real hard for God to help me. They give me a bus ticket to Seattle, get to Target. I guess they went shopping because I had a bag of clothes and food to eat on the bus. Let me out at 2, 3 in the morning. The bus didn't come until 6 or 7 or 8. I'm like, let me get one hit right quick. I haven't heard nothing in a meeting. I've been to meetings. One is too many, 1,000. I don't remember none of that because my head tells me I can do one and go do what I need to do. So when I woke up that morning of October 19th, so the prayer happened October 18th. I woke up that morning in that abandoned building for some reason. Some kind of way I went to sleep. And I walk outside. I'm about to go to the church down the street. And I bend down to tie my shoe. Whoop, whoop. First time ever, I was relieved. I was like, thank God I'm going to jail. That means I don't have to get high today. That's all I could think about. They was like, can you sit on the curb? I'm like, can you just put me in the car? I didn't even argue with them. I'm not thinking about, oh, it's almost chow time, being rude, disrespectful, making these people's job worse. Just put me in the car. Right? I know I'm in drug court. I know I have a warrant, and I know I'm going. So I get in jail. My clean date is October 20th because I used on October 19th when I woke up and got arrested. So my clean date is October 20th, 2009. So I go to court, and the judge is like, oh, there's no beds. We're going to let you out, and you can call the Salvation Army every day. I literally begged the judge, please don't let me out. Please let me stay until there's a bed somewhere. And he was like, we don't do that, right? And I prayed and everything, and then next thing you know, they said, we're going to let you stay. Who's happy to stay in jail? Me. Because I knew, I think that was a silent surrender that night when I couldn't feel anything, and that prayer, that heartfelt prayer that I said of just help me, I really felt that because I didn't recognize the person in the mirror, and I had accepted the fact that my life was unmanageable, that I was an addict, blah, 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 and I bought the other lies that I told myself that I don't amount to anything, I don't matter, I wish something happened to me, then my family won't have to worry about me, right? This is everything that my head tells me in addiction. So I had already bought the lie. And so it's like when they said you can stay. And so I ended up being transported to the Salvation Army on November 6, 2009. And I completed their full program. And, something happened over time. I was raised in a Baptist church, a Southern Baptist. So it's like, if you don't eat, you're going to hell. If you don't do this, you're going to hell. I got to the point of I can't please this dude. What's the point, right? So I'm pretty sure when I was young, the preacher would talk about God is loving, God is forgiving, you can repent and, make better decisions. But I didn't hear none of that. I heard you going to hell. And I said, I can't do this thing. So when I went to the Salvation Army, I learned about a loving, forgiving, second chance God, right? And of course, we had to have sponsors and we had to go to 12-step meetings and we had to do our therapy and gambling treatment and all that stuff. And this time I just soaked everything up because I knew that the life I was living was not the life that God had planned for me. Because before that, it was all about what I think my life should be. And I had accepted the fact that my life was just going to be to the bitter ends, jails, institution, or death, right? Until I got involved with a group of people and other believers who would say, asking you shall receive, right? So I completed that and went to another program for homeless adults at the Salvation Army. And 6 months after treatment, I got hired at the Salvation Army as it was like part-time, minimum wage. I think it was $8.25 then, 20 hours a week. I was so happy just to have some money coming in, right? And 2 weeks later, my background check came back and they said, this is not the place for you to work. There's high prostitution, there's high drugs, there's high amount of all this, and we don't think it's good for your recovery. So they let me go. They had let so many other people go and nobody ever got their job back. But on the bottom of the letter, they said, you can file an appeal. So write a story about what happened, what you did, and what you're doing now. So I wrote that and I mailed it in. And I just went and got another job, like at a telemarketing place the next day. And 2 weeks later, I got the job back. And I continued to work at the shelter. 3 months later, I was a vocational case manager. Probably a year later, I'm a counselor at the same rehab I went through. Well, it's probably 2 years total, but after 6 months there, a year here. Then I went to be a case manager at a veteran services program at the Salvation Army. 6 months later, I'm the manager of veteran services, and then I ended up being the program manager, then assistant coordinator, where I ran 4 whole programs. So I stayed at the Salvation Army as an employee for 11 years, but a year before that, I was a client. So that was my core family for all that time, is being at the Salvation Army and working in the helping profession. And so once in 2011, I started thinking, I want to go back to school, right? So I was really impressed by the love and the comfort and the support that I got from my counselors and my therapists. I wanted to be a counselor. So I applied at CSN and got my degree in psychology with the emphasis of mental health. And then I started my drug and alcohol counseling internship with the state of Nevada. And then I went to get a bachelor's in social work. Then I started learning about designing and creating and implementing and evaluating programs. I'm like, I don't want to be a counselor no more. I want to do this. Still just, my brain still goes crazy like that. And so it's really a trip that when I put my application in the UNLV for the social work program, I had to have a meeting with the people who run the social work department for me to explain my criminal history and for them to explain to me that even if I pass this course and get a license, I may not get a job because of my criminal history. And people's like, you should just go do something else. I said, nah, I'm going to do it. So I got my degree from social work. They ended up letting me in, and I got my degree in 2017, bachelor's of social work. That was in May or June, and I took the test on October 2nd, the day the thing happened at Mandalay Bay. Rattled by looking at that on the news, and I had to go take the test. Passed the test. So you pass the test, you submit for the FBI background check, all that stuff, right? Now I got to get court certified documents of every charge. I had to pay for that, get them stamped, send them to them, and write a statement because I can't, with my criminal history, it's like, you need to explain this stuff. Though I took the test in October, it wasn't until April of the next year that I had to go in front of the social work board to explain my case, and they approved me, right? So, a lot of people was like, this is just too much. And even me, I was like impressed that I'm not giving up, because that's what I do. If something's too hard, I'm like, F it, right? I'm going to do something else because this is too hard. But perseverance, right? And endurance, and just keep going. And all I can do is learn from these situations. So that ended up happening. So then I went to get my drug and alcohol counselor stuff, and I had to do the same exact thing and explain my case to them, right? So I'm like, I'm the person you want because I have this experience. in substance abuse, in homelessness, in justice involvement, right? Back then, I'm promoting the importance of a person with lived experience coupled with professional experience coupled with educational experience, right? Because when I was out there, said I had to get the gap, but today it's called good communication skills, right? So I use those things, and they're transferable. Some of the things we use in our um, heyday are transferable, and things work out. Never gave up, right? So anyway, I went on to get my master's of public administration, and now I'll be graduating with Carolyn, not for the same doctorate, but for my doctorate is in public policy, and on May 12th this year. So it's just like, even though I went through all these things, I came to realize that um, I mattered, right? All these external forces was like one of the main catalysts to me doing. I want to fit in. I want to be liked. I didn't feel good about myself. I want to be like this person. There was really no self love and self awareness, right? So I know somebody was talking about selfish, and she said self caring. I was told that it's not selfish ish, it's selfless. Because the better I am for myself, the more I know what my strengths and weaknesses are, and the more I know what ticks me off, what I like, what I don't like, and the more I work on myself, the better sister, wife, aunt, employee I'm gonna be, right? And so I was like, okay, so and I'm codependent, so I like to people please. I need you to be okay, so I feel like I need to run your life and walk you through every single thing you need to do in order to get it, right? Because I'm codependent, right? I hate to see people not get to where I think their potential is, and therefore I enable people to just be lazy and I do the work for them, right? Still work on that today, and I worked on a lot in treatment. Some things don't go away. I still also attend 12-step meetings today, um, because I'm in remission. No, no. I am still an addict. This is a disease of the brain, and just because I haven't used it in 14 years doesn't mean something crazy can happen tomorrow and I can use and I may use, right? So my thing is every day when I wake up, I'm just so excited that I'm sober. And sometimes I get to work and I'm excited. I call my husband, guess what? I didn't get high on my way to work. It's 14 years later. But I'm still that excited that I get to make it from a home I bought to a job and I didn't get high today. When I was first sober and I was so excited about being sober, they said, it's Rose, you and whatever this phrase is. I said, just call me a person with rose colored glasses because I, this is what I do. And I'm excited that just for today, in this moment, I didn't turn a date, I didn't commit a crime, I didn't get high. I'm grateful for that right now, right? And so that's how I'm so excited and about everything all the time. Anyway, so talked about that. How much time I got? Okay, we're doing good. And I talk really fast and I stutter, so I'll be second guessing myself later. Like, what did I miss? So I stayed at the Salvation Army for 11 years, 2010 to 2021, and I accepted a job at this agency called Nevada Homeless Alliance back in November of 2021. Friend of mine, where I did some of my practicum work for my social work degree, she was the director of the agency and she was moving. And she said, I want to recommend that you apply. I was like, director. And I was like, let me pray on it, right? Because I'm comfortable. I really don't like change. Salvation Army is my family. It's hard to leave somewhere where I was the boss, but I'm going to be an executive director over a whole agency that's been here for 30 years, right? And so it was like a struggle for me. And then I just had to pray and ask God, what should I do? And about 2 weeks later, I said, okay, I'll interview. And I ended up getting a job. So I've been the executive director of Nevada Homeless Alliance since November of 2021. It's about a year and 3 months, still new. And, it's just really an amazing opportunity to have the ability to run this agency that's been in our community for so long. And we are continuing to do good work for people who are homeless. And, I'm a nerd, and I like spreadsheets and money and writing grants and creating programs and all this. And I make sure that today Every job I have open says you must have lived experience, criminal involvement, substance use, or homelessness, right? If I hire a bookkeeper, you need to be a bookkeeper, right? But my case managers and my research specialists, right? I work with a population that was just like who I was. How many years ago? 14 years ago and more, right? And so I know how it felt for me to be in front of a normie, and it was hard to get vulnerable and be transparent. And I kept stuff back. And so that's why I think over time, when I went to treatment centers, and nothing about people that go and get their degrees and become counselors, but it's something about some of us, and I'm one of those people included, that if you haven't been through it, I feel like I'm being judged, right? So I make sure so we can best serve our participants that my people that I hire, since I have the ability to hire people today, who does that? Like crackheads clean up pretty good, don't we? Right? I can laugh at myself today, right? So it just really is just one thing that I make sure I do, is to make sure that those people and people like me are included under this umbrella. So I can go talk to the governor, I could talk to the senator, I'm talking to assembly people because my thing is policy. So I'm working on a lot of policies today as it relates to affordable housing and homelessness and homeless bill of rights and changing the system so people won't get released from the DOC to homelessness and you just dropped off at the bus at Greyhound bus station and live at a shelter. So um, we just got approved from the DOC to a pilot program where we can go into the prison and make sure that people who are expiring um, don't just get dropped off and have to go sleep at a shelter. So I made sure I had money for that. I got staff for that. And I just got the email today that it was approved, right? So all that to say that I think that for me personally, I wouldn't be the person I am today if I had not been through what I've been through. There's a lot of people I know that work in the field and they do the same exact work, but they're normies. They haven't been through what I've been through. No, but I know me, had I not been through the trials and tribulations, man, this tool between my two shoulders would be like this. I would think I'm on top of the world. Nobody can tell me anything, this and that and the other. I had to be pretty much on my bottom to even learn what humility and gratitude looks like, right? Like these are innate things that I think that my grandma and my mom embedded in my sister and I and my cousins growing up. But morals and values from your family and teachers and church members, when you become an adult and you have your individual values, like my values was manipulation and gift the gab, and I'm trying to get what I'm trying to get, right? And some of that stuff went out the door. Now I know the value of who I am because of my relationship with God and what I'm called to do today, right? And so I had a scripture I wanted to share since, I read today. It says, rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, and be constant in prayer. So when something goes wrong in my life today, so weird. I say thank you to my higher power for keeping me humble because now um, I stay in contact, right? But when things go really good for me, I pray harder than I pray when things go wrong. So when I get a promotion or I get this award or get recognized, I pray harder because I don't only pray when things go bad. When things go good, that's when I need to pray because this thing up here will say, you did that, you're the best, and I forget to remember where I come from. And that's not where I want to be. So, it's like, God, help me with this great news I just got. Help me to stay humble and process it and use this for your purpose. Then we have to be careful what we ask for. Tell God, use me how you see fit. And then you get all these crazy phone calls and you're like, I'm busy. Okay, well, I did ask him to use it. This is how he sees fit for me to do today. So now I got to put everything to the side and do what I need to do for God and my brothers and sisters, regardless to what faith they are, right? And so I think the bottom line of my message is that like we can never give up, right? And it's easy to give up when you don't know there's something worth fighting for. Like you guys are sitting in the seat with the person that you know more than anybody else. You know what your strengths and weaknesses are. You know what you should and shouldn't do. You know right from wrong. But when do we get outside of what external thinks about me and what society thinks I should be doing and do what's just right? Just do the next right thing, even when nobody's looking, like that real integrity, right? And when we see that and see I have a place in this world, I matter to me because I have to matter to me before I can think I can matter to anybody else, right? I also had to learn how to forgive myself, right? And I didn't know what that looked like until other people showed me what that looked like, right? I don't know how to forgive until I'm taught what forgiveness looks like. Other people forgave me. Now I know what forgiveness looks like, right? Other people loved on me, like they say, we'll love on you until you can love on yourself. Now I know what true love and genuine love looks like. I know these things, but putting them in action in the lifestyle I was living, that was to the side. I need to get that next one. I need to hit that next lick. That's what it was all about, right? And I think, inside we know right from wrong. So if I were to leave you guys with anything, it would be don't ever give up. Just know that the sky is the limit. I didn't get sober until I was 36, if I'm 49. Yeah, 35, because I'm about to be 49. I said 50. But I didn't get sober until I was 36, right? And just all that time, in and out, in and out, in and out. And like I said, my best thought that I could come up with, like, ooh, if something happened to me, my mom wouldn't have to worry about me anymore. I didn't think, let me change my life and do something better so they won't worry about me. My thinking was limited and that was it, right? And so, but today is a whole new ball game, a whole new story, right? I'm just so blessed to be where I am today. When I have meetings with these other executive directors, because I'm still kind of hood, right? I want to think that. But I mean, I'm not far removed. Like, I want to stay over, and I really don't want to stay over there. But when I go in and they were like, "Oh, the executive director is coming," and I was like, "Oh, hey, I'm Katrina. I got lived experience with homelessness and substance abuse and justice involvement. I'm also the executive director of Nevada Homeless Alliance, right? I need you to know what I've been through. And so when you see these people sleeping on park benches and you see people asking for money and you see people walking in the street talking to themselves and you see people who are in and out of prison, you may say one day they can be like Katrina instead of saying, what are we doing with these homeless people? Or why are these people? So my goal is to change, and I know I can't do it for everyone, is to change that perception because everybody here, we're all humans. Humans make mistakes. We wasn't smart enough to not get caught. No, and everybody deserves a second chance. Like nobody's perfect. Thank God I'm not perfect. If I was perfect, you guys couldn't touch me. I wouldn't even look at you. I'd be like, I'm too good for you. Thank God I have flaws. Thank God I fall down and get up. Thank God I have the ability to practice some humility in my life. And the way I keep going is that I make sure unplug this and the power is going to go off, right? I stay plugged into the power, right? My power is God. I'm a princess, like LaDonna says, because I'm the daughter of a king. I was pointing to the guy in the back because he knows what I'm talking about. He probably don't know who I am. And so I just stay plugged into the power and I make sure that I go out and serve and help others. That's my goal. That's my passion. And that fuels me every day. It's not even about money, status, or anything like that today. It's all about helping that next person to get further in their life and giving them a choice if they don't want to and saying, hey, when you ready, I'm here. Um, so I don't know if I did what normal huddles do. I feel like I just up here talking, but I'm done. And thank you for having me. 7:04. I did good.
Thank you, Katrina.
You're
No,
welcome.
come stand up. We're gonna have a question and answer
I thought I was
session.
gonna take a selfie. You had your phone. I'm like, hey. I'm gonna act. I know how to act in the public. Okay. Yes, sir.
Let me take the mic.
Tim Roberts. Wow, Katrina, powerful.
Thank you.
Um, I've been there. I was homeless, and addiction. I've been right in that spot. and I didn't. I was lucky enough to not be as bad as some of the people I saw, and I really really wanted to find a way to help people, and I did as best I could, and I knew because I would meet them, and I
Mhm.
knew that these people aren't what you see when you're driving down the street.
Exactly.
They have brains. They're smart. They're stuck in and they don't know how to get out of it. So coming together for the homeless like this. I've got a guy named David, and I don't know how to help him. He's a homeless man, and every time I see him, he's closer to death, and I give him everything I have. So thank you.
I'll give you my information. We're Nevada Homeless Alliance with a voice of the homeless, so we got you. It's really weird why you bringing the microphone to her. It's the trip how people judge, and I know when I was homeless, right? Um, we would talk about the people who, it's so funny, would like eat the hot dogs from AM PM trash, right? But I went to Roof Chris Steakhouse and got the steaks out of theirs. But in my head, I would never do that. It's still a dumpster, right? So it's like really weird how when you talk about how we judge, we never know. Like even on our bottom, we still judge people. It's like human nature, unfortunately. But I got you with a card.
Do I have this one? Okay, great. So what made you decide to continue in your education? Because like I'm at that point right now, I have my associates, and I question like because of my background, like clearly education is going to trump any felony or whatever the case. But what made you decide to continue on and even now get your doctorates?
Probably because I have addictive behavior. No, I don't know. It's just I get to one level that I want to do something different. I can't go anywhere from here. I'm done. Like I can't be in school at 50. But so, I want to be a counselor and then I get in social work and then I learn about evaluating, designing and implementing programs. Then I get public administration and learn about nonprofit management and grant writing and laws and policies. And now I want to do policy because I want to help the system, and then I train all my staff and I conduct training in the community on best practices to use with homeless and people who are justice involved in order to serve that person better that I wanted to be the counselor for. So it's just something in my now I want to do this and I want to do this. Now I think I know I'm good with where I am. And so I think just go with what you want to go with. I started off wanted to do medical billing and I couldn't even get in anywhere at that time to like get those practical hours. So I said, I really want to be a counselor anyway, and so I just kind of like transferred and went into that.
Chaplain Finney,
Hey,
thank you so much. God bless you. In Jesus' name.
amen.
My question, does does your organization do any kind of intervention in regards to homeless individuals?
Intervention, our focus is on the whole person, so it's more holistic. So when we have our events, we have housing assessments, we have mental health, substance use, anti-human trafficking, legal aid, um, employment, everything that the person may need, as well as showers, food, and clothing, right?
Okay.
So you come to a one-stop shop. We have events in the community. Like you guys heard of the homeless stand down, right? So that's us. We've been doing it for all those years. But now we have like 4 events per month in different parts of the community, at encampments, in parking lots, at community centers, and we take services directly to homeless people because they're kind of hard to serve and service resistant. So when we go to them,
Service resistant.
they get a housing assessment on the spot. They can get everything they need right on the spot, phone, everything.
Well, I may have come across some business for you.
Okay.
But I think about that term service resistant.
A lot of us were service resistant. Why do you
Yeah.
think we ended up where we was at?
Yeah, I
We
think
don't know how to, we don't follow up and do stuff the right way.
yes.
Then,
Well, my day job, I work at the World Market Center,
okay.
which is these big, gigantic buildings off of exit 41. And it's a furniture marketplace, business to business.
Mhm.
So it's nothing but, fancy professional people
Mhm.
making deals for millions of dollars and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So we have 4, and I am not plugging World Market, but I'm setting up the situation. We have 4.5 million square feet
Mhm.
of exhibition space for these
Mhm.
furniture wholesale businesses and everything. They rent out hundreds of thousands of square feet, each
Mhm.
one of them 30,000, 40,000. Well, today, and I had heard about this, but today, the second in command of security, uh, we walk by each other and we start chatting, and he's like, there's all these folks, I got to get all of these folks who don't belong here out of World Market. And I said, what? So you got people who are going into the showrooms
Mhm.
so they can, so they can have so they can set up and they can have a nap and someplace to live and whatnot. He says, yeah. We start talking about it. And then as you're talking, I'm thinking to myself, that maybe I can give you contact information of the head of security there.
can give
Maybe there
him
can be some sort of
my
intervention
contact.
because they might be thinking about breaking bones and this type of thing. I don't know. I don't know.
So what that looks like,
I
and
think
I'll
they're much
make
simpler
sure
than
that you guys
Thank
can
you.
just look at our website and email me through there. When anybody has, like, there's an encampment over here, they can always call our agency. We can help get the outreach teams dispatched. So the Fashion Show Mall, the Strip, all those places call us and say we have a lot of homeless people. Can you guys come and help us? And we'll do what we need to do to get teams out there to get people the services they need if they want them. Yeah, everybody in the community. Cause I mean, you guys may not know, but like business owners know what to do if they notice an encampment behind their dumpster. A lot of people around. They. Well, you don't have to do that. You can just give them my contact information. I'll give it to you. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Katrina. Do we have any other questions in house? Do we have any questions at Casa Grande?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Yeah.
We can hear you.
Okay, cool. So thank you. Yeah, no, congratulations on 14 years sober
Thank you.
and more than a decade of service to trying to help people out of the darkness. So good job there. But I just wanted to ask, what do you think the main causes of homelessness are? Drug addiction, mental health issues. I mean, just giving someone an apartment is going to do nothing when the root cause is just going to send you back to kind of the desperation that you were previously.
So there's a lot of causes of homelessness, and it's usually some type of trauma, and then like the coping skills of using drugs or not taking medication or not being even diagnosed with the mental health, as well as low income. Like our average income rate, minimum wage is not enough to pay for housing, right? And housing rates continue to go up. And so it's not like our community just throw people into housing. We have a housing first model where we house people first. And then the goal is not housing only. At that point, you can better connect a person to substance use, mental health, employment when they have a residence instead of looking for them in the tunnel. So when we do housing first, all those other wraparound services go with it to do a holistic approach. So you're not just throwing people in apartments and saying, "Oh, you're not on the streets anymore." Because what happens is you'll go visit that apartment and it looks like they're living behind a dumpster. They're just in an apartment because they're not learning life skills and they don't have any goals and things like that. So, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions inside Casa Grande? Is that it for Casa Darby? You're all the way in the back. So we're good? Do we have any questions inside?
We got one more.
Sorry.
Hey,
Cece.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Sierra, and I just wanted to know where you get funding to do all these activities.
So we get state funding and can you hear me? Yeah. So we get funding from Clark County. Most of our money prior to me coming there was through donations and sponsorships from like a lot of the casinos. We work with Caesars, MGM, Boyd, all the casinos. So we get funding and grants from them. And then here recently, HUD just released funds for unsheltered homelessness, and I wrote a grant, and we were awarded 2.5 million, my agency, for a 3-year grant, one of the biggest grants in our community. So now we have more money, and we can expand our services to 2 events per week instead of 1 per week, and we can reach more homeless people.
Awesome, thank you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Do we have any questions here?
I just got the award notification just came out 2-3 weeks ago, and the grant year is not going to start until July or August. So around that time, I will be. Yeah, we take volunteers every single day at our and for every event. So you can go to Nevada Homeless Alliance. I have the information, and you can sign up to volunteer, and we'll let you know any volunteer opportunities that come up. And there are like every day.
Hi again,
Am I talking
Katrina.
into this?
Chaplain Rex here.
Hey, Chaplain.
First met you at the statewide corrections and reentry advisory board meeting, and I'm just glad to see you here, that you did make it, and thank you for all the work you do in the community.
Awesome.
And for your testimony.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else? No one else? So, Katrina, you had a question? Okay, so we just want to thank you for literally sharing your life's testimony with us. You have poured into us tonight, and I'm grateful. And I'm gonna have to hold up to May 12th. So yes, despite the challenges, I will hold up to it. So we're gonna end the huddle early tonight. If John was here, we would have gone a little bit longer. But we're gonna end early tonight, and I just want to encourage every single person sitting in here, and everyone that's at Casa Grande. The reality is, our lives are a canvas. It's truly a canvas for those that have or may have not experienced some of the things that we've experienced. And the beautiful thing about that canvas is that God uses the blank slate, the messed up slate that we create sometimes, and he corrects it, and he fixes it, and he uses it for his glory. And we get to demonstrate that every single day of our lives when we overcome the adversities that have been in our lives. So we literally teach each person through our own personal experiences. And I just want to encourage you guys. I've been here at Hope for Prisoners. This month is my 5th year working as a program manager. Well, not a program manager, as a staff. I started as a case manager. I got promoted to reentry supervisor, and then now I'm the program manager. And I too have lived experience. And I tell people every single time, the experiences that I have, I know that God had to put me through those processes so that I can be who I am today. Not a better version, not a better person, but just the person that I am, so I can have the compassion and zero judgment. I do not care what you've done yesterday. As long as you're here today, I know you want to do something different. And that's how we need to look at each person. We need to be there. We need to tell our stories, because we need to change the face of reentry. So that's the only thing I want to leave you with and encourage you. Yes.
You said you're not here to judge people, right? That's exactly what Jesus came to do, to save us. He said he's not here to judge us at all. If he was here to judge us, he would be like with the lady that came with the other dudes when they were trying to stone her, and said, "What'd you do with her?" If he was judging her, he would have been like stone her because she was wrong. But he came to save her. He said, "Don't sin." He saved her by telling her the right thing to do, saving her. Don't sin. He came to save us, not judge.